Just to review for today, have your alpha ball, have 2 blocks, and your standard size therapy balls. We're gonna start at the wall. So take your therapy balls and your alpha ball. Just place the therapy balls down on the floor by you as we go over there, because we'll come into the mid back after we come into the pecs. So let's begin. Go ahead, stand up, come to the wall. And to begin, just take the therapy ball right into the chest, and we'll just start by rolling right across the chest. Start just inside or just outside of the sternum, coming right underneath the collarbone. Just lean in. Taking some nice deep breaths. Stripping your way from the sternum out to the front of the shoulder. And then maybe doing a little zigzagging. If you bend your knees, go up and down just a little bit. Taking a couple deep breaths, just leaning into the ball. Letting the bottom arm be heavy. You may even swing it a few times just to let it go. Using your breath as a driver. And then let's change the ball position. Let's take the ball now into that space above the collarbone, so between the collarbone and the spine of the shoulder blade, and we'll come right into the upper trap now. So we'll get into those postural muscles that kind of keep us like this. And then we'll come back into the pec again. And now what you're gonna do is you're just gonna lean in to the wall. So walk the feet away a little bit. And first, just let your head be heavy. You can just let it rest against the wall. And then you can just get a little twist from side to side, rocking over the ball. Or you can again get a little up and down, right along that muscular line of the neck. And again, come back to the awareness of your bottom arm. For me, it's the right arm. It doesn't matter what side you start with. And just lean into the ball, breathing into where the ball and the body meet, right in that space between the collarbone and the shoulder blade, coming into the upper traps, coming into the scalenes, unsticking the shoulder blades from the skull. And maybe a little chug up and down. Feels nice. Taking about 5 or so more breaths here. And if you have just the smaller set of balls, this might feel better in the doorway because you can lean into it and have more space for your head. I have the alpha ball. So the doorway might be nice if you can't get that pressure. The larger, take the large, those are the standard, and then, yeah, take the larger of the two. And another option is to take a book or something that's light, a block against the wall could be a good idea too. But since I see books there, you can take your book, and then that will give a little bit more space for your head as well. Welcome. So we're just rolling into the upper trap against the wall. I have my plus size therapy ball. I have my alpha ball against the wall. But if you only have the smaller ones, a block or book will give you a little more space for your head. And then now I'm going to come back into my pec. So I'm going to come back into the chest. And now I'm going to lean into the wall, right where the ball and the body meet. But I want to use my arm as the driver now. So I'm going to bring the arm out like I'm in a field goal position. And again, if you feel like the ball's not big enough, place something between the wall and the ball, whether it's a yoga block, whether it's a book. And then now start to move the arm up and down, up and down. You can even lean into it, like reach up and overhead. And then bring the arm out like a T. And now turn the body away. And feel that nice stretch through the whole front side, through the biceps, pec, front of the shoulder. And then with the ball pressing right into the edge of the shoulder joints, the front edge, that space between the chest and the ball of the ball and socket joint. Maybe even try to lift the arm off the wall behind you to get the back body to engage, to inhibit just a little bit more. Let's do that a few more times. Try to lift the arm off the wall. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and then release. And then let's do that again. Try to lift the arm off the wall, pulling the back body in. And then release. Take a couple more arm circles. Maybe you even lift the arm off the wall now, trying to pull the arm back from the wall to get a little bit more of the back body working to free up the front body. Last time. Great. And then just do a little shoulder circle reset. And just stand and feel the difference now between the two sides. Okay. So if you joined a little late, I'm using the alpha ball. If you have the smaller set of balls, the plus size or the standard size, that's fine. However, you might need a little bit more space between you and the wall. So take a block or a book so that you have a little extra space. Yes, that's it. Yeah, the gray one. That's that's my favorite for rolling against the wall. And so now we're gonna go to the other side. So whichever side you haven't done yet, we'll start in the front of the chest, going from the chest bone out to the shoulder against the wall. Yeah, you'll go against the wall. And you'll just let the arm hang to begin. Make sure you're under the collarbone and outside of the sternum or the chest bone. And you're just going to rock side to side, going in line with the upper ribs. And stay above nipple height, but you can go up and down a little bit to zigzag across the front of the chest. So the bigger ball actually is a little bit more sustainable. The larger the ball, the less intense the pressure sensation is going to be because there's a broader surface area. And you get to control how much weight. If you lean your legs back from the wall and lean into it, it's going to be more intense. If you stand more upright, it's going to be less intense. So find that just right pressure that allows you to be curious and allows it to be sustainable. Taking about another 5 breaths, maybe even pausing in stillness when you reach a sensitive or tender point, sending your breath right to where the ball and body meet. Allowing your breath to mobilize the upper ribs. Take one more round of breath. Feel everything sink. And then let's change locations coming into the upper trap. So when you come into the upper trap, come into that space above the spine of the shoulder blade, but behind the collarbones. So you're going to go right along this muscular ridge on the side of the neck. So you'll stand sideways to the wall, lean the top of the shoulder into the wall, placing the ball between the shoulder and the wall. It fills up that space and you'll get right into that nice meaty muscle on the top of your shoulder. Think of that place where you want everyone to squeeze and then just lean into it. Let your arm hang. So that arm that's getting worked on, that side you're working on is not doing any work, and just use your body weight to lean into the wall. Let your head rest on the wall. Take a few breaths right into the top of the shoulder. Think about doing as little as necessary. So just meeting yourself right where you are. And then you may rock a little bit, get a little twist to go across, or a little bend and straighten to go up and down. Sometimes less is more though. Sometimes just that sustained pressure right into where the body and the ball meet is the nicest way to allow it all to soften. So let your body weight do the work. Just lean in. See if you can bring your awareness right to where the ball and body meet. Find that just right sensational spot. Breathe in there. Feeling the tension where the ball and body meet dissolve. Kind of like ripples broadening in the water, moving outward, dispersing until there's this dropping and melting right under the ball. Sense of spaciousness and ease. The more you effort, the harder it's going to be to allow the body to soften. So you get to control exactly how much pressure you put in. And if you find yourself struggling or fighting against it, then it's too much. Then back off. Just take 2 or 3 more breaths here. moving as much or as little as feels right for you right now. And then we'll move back into movement. So take the ball to the front of your chest, right in front of the shoulder. So in that sort of crease, that space between the shoulder and the chest, finding the front of the shoulder. And then now we'll use the arm as a lever. Bring the arm out like a field goal position. And then you're going to move the arm over the ball. And first you can just trace it along the wall. And then you can let the arm come out like a T, and then keep that edge of the shoulder pressing into your alpha ball, and then twist the hips to the side so that you get this nice stretch through the front of the shoulder, the front of the chest, the whole front of the arm, biceps. And the more you turn away from the wall, the more intense it will be. So the more the arm ends up behind you. So you get to control exactly how much is the just right amount. If your breath becomes shallow or efforting, it's too much. So find a sensational but sustainable point, and we'll come back into this shape another way. And then see what happens if you try to engage the back body to lift your arm off the wall. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then release. So now we're just using a little contract, relax, activating the opposite muscle group, so the mid-back, in order to draw the shoulder back and keep it there. Again, pull the shoulder back. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. One more time. Pull it back. Lift it off the wall. Engage the back body for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. And then bend your arm again. And now let's see if you can lift the whole arm off the wall and do those arm circles. Maybe arms straight or elbow bends. You should really feel the back body working. May look like this, like a lat pull down action. Do one more time, whichever feels right for you. And then release. Let go of that ball. Let it come right down to the floor. And then find your regular therapy balls. I like the smallest ones. The blue medium size are fine too, the plus ones. You get to choose again. The smaller ones are going to be a little bit more intense. The smaller the surface area, the greater the pressure, the localized pressure. You're going to take them right into the middle of your back and then lean right into the wall. So leaning into the wall, just feel the balls roll right through the area between the shoulder blades. You can come from right at the top of the neck, the bottom of the neck, the top of the rib cage, above the spine of the scapula, where the neck and rib cage meet, all the way down to the bottom of the rib cage. But I'm going to focus in that area for now between the shoulder blades so that we work on freeing up the shoulder blades from the spine. So you just freed up the front. Now we're freeing up the back a little bit, that space between the shoulder blades. And you can control exactly where they are and exactly how much pressure you place into them. I'm starting today and standing with this pec series because a lot of times our pecs get really tight, our upper traps get really tight from us sitting, that computer posture. So this is just a nice way to stand up during the day and do a little reset. And it could even be a little quicker chug if you want a little bit more energizing kind of activation through there. You get to control how big or little, how quick or slow. So listen to your body and choose that just right pace. Repositioning the balls as needed. Finding a few different ball stops along that shoulder blade area. Maybe it even feels good just to pause, sustain compression in that space between the shoulder blades. Taking about 5 more breaths, completing this mid-back rolling, this scrubbing of that space between the shoulders. Awakening the area in the mid-back so that we can then begin to activate that area a little bit better. And then go ahead and stand up. Let's take the therapy balls out. And let's come down to the ground now. We'll spend the remaining time on the floor. And we'll take the therapy balls out of the tote for the remaining time. I have a little bit more shoulder blade work to do, but first we're gonna come back into that space right under the collarbone. We're gonna come into what we call the subclavius muscle, just under the clavicle, and we're gonna lean into it by placing one therapy ball here and then taking your block. And you're literally, you can choose the height on your block. Mine are a little bigger, so I have them on the middle height. And I'm gonna take that ball right under my collarbone to my block, and I'm just gonna allow my weight to lean into it. And depending upon how broken in your balls are, I was just thinking mine are pretty broken in. It could be pretty tender, so you get to control how much weight you put in. A book will do too if you don't have a block, that's fine. And we're not gonna move much here. We're just gonna find a couple different spots right underneath the collarbone. I really want to free up that area right under the collarbone by sending the breath to that space right under the collarbone. So breathe in right where the ball and the body meet. So I have the therapy ball, right under the collarbone, up against the block. So under the collarbone, and then take that, put the ball right there, then come to the block. Yeah, and then let the head go. And you're not rolling much, you're really just breathing, trying to separate that first rib and second rib from the collarbone, creating space in that area to free up the shoulder girdle. So a lot of times that collarbone, which is the only place that the whole upper extremity attaches to our spine, like to our axial skeleton. It's the only solid joint that attaches the whole arm to the central body. And so it's really important that it moves well. So we're unsticking that collarbone here. You may even just, instead of rolling the ball, see what happens if you do just a couple shoulder shrugs towards your ear, just to help the ball melt into that space. It's really just to feel a little and reposition. And you might find a few tender points. These are the lung, the different acupressure points of the lung. They also correlate with anxiety points. So when we're anxious, we get short, shallow breathing. So this area tends to be pretty strained. And then when you feel ready, go ahead, just switch to the other side. So just reposition the ball at the bottom border of the collarbone or clavicle on the opposite side. And then make the ball meet the block. And then just lean in. Breathe. Let the breath be the driver. The breath is the best driver to mobilize the rib cage. So as you're here in this kind of inverted position, you can really think about letting the breath flow down into the upper ribs. So because of gravity, the breath will descend right into the upper part of the lungs, in that place right around the first and second rib, just underneath the collarbone. Find a couple of ball stops here, repositioning. Maybe you shrug the shoulder just a few times, just to kind of floss your way in to that space right underneath the collarbone. Finding one more spot. Pausing and breathing. Letting go of the head. Resting in the breath right where the ball and body meet. And then releasing the therapy ball. And then we'll move on to our back, taking both of the standard size therapy balls with you. We're going to bring them right to the space between the shoulder blades. So we just worked a little bit of shoulder blade motion to just to free up the collarbone. And we're going to do the same thing, but now with that, now with the balls in the shoulder blades in the back. So therapy balls positioned right between the shoulder blades. Get that just right spot. Kind of wiggle your way in there, reposition them so that they're just inside in that space right along the edge. And if this is too tender on your back, you can always take it to the wall. I find it easier to maintain the position when I'm on my back, but it is more pressure. So if this work is new to you, just keep it up against the wall. And then now, just shrug the shoulder blades again, up and down. Free up that inside border of the shoulder blade. Just shrugging the shoulders, walking your way up and down the inside edge of the shoulder blade, right where the shoulder blade and mid rib cage meet. And then now make sure you have space around you. Let's do that snow angel arm again that we did with one arm at a time along the wall to get nice rotational motion in the shoulder blade. Pausing at any point of the range that you feel sensation. Stop and breathe. Meet the sensation with your breath. Sink into the therapy balls. Notice how you may even feel a little stretch of the pec in that mid-range. Taking a couple more sweeps. Maybe even as you sweep the arms up, when you bring them down, you might hug yourself so that the elbows stack and then come all the way down. Arms may circle up. And then if they stack on the way down, do them the opposite way. You'll feel how the shoulder blades pull apart. Feel that stretch through the pecs as you come up, letting the hands trace along the floor as long as possible. Hug on the way down the center. And then one more time. And then while we're here, let's reposition the therapy balls. We can't do this work without doing my favorite. So we'll take the therapy balls right into the upper traps again. So a lot of times those upper traps and the pecs will be culprits together. So if you squeeze right at the top of your shoulder, take your therapy ball and make a little platform for the upper trap. So you won't feel that much right here, but you'll feel that the muscle is sitting on this platform. And then now, press your feet into the floor. So walk your heels back so they're right under your sit bones. Press your feet into the floor. Come up to a nice little bridge. Pause here for a breath. Notice how that increases the weight into the balls. And then exhale. Let's come down. And then let's do that again. Inhale. Hold. As you exhale, bring the arms up overhead. Pause now with the arms up overhead. Breathe in, and then exhale, roll the spine down one segment at a time so that you start to feel that mid-back roll. And then once your hips return, let the arms come down. This is one of my favorites. So nice dynamic mobilization. Inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale, arms come up overhead. Inhale into that stretch. And then exhale, rolling down one segment at a time. Let the arms reset. Let's do that 3 more times, connecting one breath with motion, lifting the hips, lifting the arms, pausing, coming down, and then lowering the arms. 2 more at your own pace. Hips lift, arms lift. Welcome the sensation, and then let it dissolve. Can't work the posture without working the hips. Got to get the glutes and the core engaged to keep you upright, to establish that nice foundation. And then now, lift the hips up, but keep the arms down. Walk the hands behind your back. Interlace your hands. Press your hands into the floor. And then now, drop the hips down, back onto your hands. and you'll be lying on your hands. You might lose the sensation in the balls, and that's okay. But now you're getting this nice stretch through the chest. So take a few breaths here, pausing in this sustained hold, feeling the stretching of the front body, compressing in the back body, opening what's tight. Feel your breath create more mobility. Therapy balls could always come out if you'd like. Soften the eyes, soften the jaw. Pausing for about 3 more breaths. Letting it all go. Lift the hips, remove the hands, lower the pelvis and remove the therapy balls. Just lie in this Ardha Shavasana, or this half hook lying resting pose for just a minute, feeling how your shoulder blades, shoulders, arms, and mid-back all just drop into the floor. Pausing, letting the resonance or the echo of all of that work just dissolve so that you return back into stillness to begin again for our last sequence. To prepare, we're going to roll to our bellies. So for this last sequence, there are 2 options depending upon what balls you have. First, we're going to do a rolling through the biceps because the pecs transition right into the biceps. So when this is tight, usually this is tight. This is our protective posture. So we'll do a little bit through the biceps with the alpha ball on our belly. And that will be pretty self-explanatory. So have your alpha ball nearby. If you don't have the alpha, just the standard ball, you can put it on a block. But then I want to do a stabilizing exercise to keep all of this open. Because if we roll the front and do all this rolling, if we don't then stabilize, we're not going to stay in that corrected position. So for that last part, we're going to use 2 blocks or 2 books with the therapy balls in the top middle corner. So it'll be just like this. So place this just near you, but just maybe right above you to for the moment. Make sure your therapy balls don't run away on you. And then just find your alpha ball just for a minute. So I'm going to come to the right side first. Like I said, I want to just get a little biceps. So I'm going to come to the front of my shoulder on the right. I'm going to turn my head to the left, and I'm even going to kickstand my left leg up so that I can sort of propel myself towards my side a little bit. And I'm going to roll along the top and the front of the shoulder, so I'll get that deltoid that plays in there too in the front of the shoulder. Then I'll start to feel where the deltoid, the pec, and the biceps all meet right at the front of the top of the shoulder. There's going to be this tender kind of cord-like spot in the upper arm. So pause there. And then I like to pronate my forearm. So I like to turn my palm up towards the sky by turning my thumb down so that I can get into the edge of the biceps a little bit more. And I'm just going to roll up and down the front of the arm. I might even pause, find sustained compression. Taking a few passes. And if it feels right, if you'd like, you could even do a pin and stretch by bending and straightening the elbow, if that feels good for you. And I find that when I pin and stretch, I like to look towards the arm. So you can move as much or as little as you like. If you start to get too heady, like what am I supposed to do? Just stop and return back to the breath, observing the sensation where the body and ball meet, waiting and allowing the body to soften. And then switch sides, bringing the ball into the front of the left shoulder. And I'll just show you what I was referring to. So the pec, the deltoid, and then the biceps all kind of meet in this area in the front of the shoulder. So probably as the ball gets to this upper arm area here, there'll be a pretty tender spot where all of that crosses over. And then now while it's in my left arm, I'm going to turn my head to the right and bend my right leg up so that I can sway myself side to side and strip along the length in line, in the direction of the line of pull of the biceps. And I can move as little or as much as I'd like. Working my way down the whole upper arm. I like to flip my palm up so my thumb is pointing down towards my hips. That helps me get right into that seam, that myofascial seam at the edge of the biceps. If you turn the hand up or down, you may notice a change in sensation, so just play with it. Be a little explorative. And then pausing, maybe bending and straightening a couple times if that feels right. I like to turn my head to look at my arm when I bend and straighten. Repositioning the ball as needed. And then allowing the ball to come out, returning to your belly. Let's set up for this last stabilization exercise that I was talking about. So lying on your belly, bring your blocks so that they're shaped like a triangle, maybe about 4 to 6 inches in between them, so that the top corners are near one another, so that you can rest in the top inside corner of your block or your book, your therapy balls. So they literally hug right into that space in the front of the shoulder between the chest and then the ball of the shoulder joint. So kind of nestle them right in there, right on top of the blocks. You're going to lean into them and then let the arms come by your sides. And you'll feel the ball of the shoulder joint just kind of roll forward over the therapy balls. And now, from here, we're going to get into shoulder blade strengthening. So,
pinch the shoulder blades together, keeping the arms straight. Draw the shoulder heads, the ball of the head of the shoulder back, and pull the bottom corners of the shoulder blades together so that you're pinching the mid-back. You'll feel increased pressure into the therapy balls as you do this. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then release. All the way down. Let the head go down. Let the head of the shoulders go down. Come out of the effort and feel yourself melt into the therapy balls. And then we'll do that 3 more times. I want you to even feel the triceps, the back of the arms engage to help stabilize that openness through the biceps that we just rolled. So pinch the heads of the shoulders back, the bottom corners of the shoulder blades towards the spine. Lift the arms up so the whole mid-back is engaging. Pause and take 3 full breaths. Feeling each breath allow you to draw back a little bit more. And then lower all the way down. Two more rounds. Pinch and lift. Mid-back engage. Shoulders drawing back. Activate the mid-back. Careful that it's not going into the low back. To avoid the low back activation, press the pelvis and the thighs and the belly into the floor. And then release. Next variation, bring the arms up like a letter T, like a capital T or like an airplane. And then thumbs face up towards the sky. Pinch the shoulder blades together, drawing the middle back together, engaging the mid-back. Then pinch the shoulder blades together, lifting the thumbs straight up. Make sure if you look at your arms, you're still in a capital T position. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and then release. We'll do that 2 more times here in the capital T. Thumbs face up, shoulder blades draw back. From the shoulder blades and the back of the arms, lift the arms straight up and wide. Check and make sure you're in a capital T. The arms aren't going up or down, but the shoulder blades are pulling straight into the midline. For 3, 2, 1, and release. Last time. Arms stretch out, thumbs point up. Press and stabilize the pelvis and low back, and then lift from that space between the shoulder blades. Breathe 3 deep breaths. 1 more breath, and then release all the way. Last variation, arms up overhead like Superman. You may just have to make a little adjustment to the therapy balls and the blocks to keep everything in position. So arms up like YMCA. Draw your shoulder blades down the back like you're trying to slide your shoulder blades into the back pockets of your pants. Then lift the arms up. From the shoulder blades, make sure that you can shake the head no, the neck's not doing the work, but the mid-back, the bottom corners of the shoulder blades are pulling down into the pockets of your pants. And then reach the fingertips long, taking up as much space as you can. Engage the whole back body for 3, 2, 1, and then release. 2 more rounds just like this. Lift and reach. And relax. Last one, we'll have a little surprise at the end of this one. So lift and hold. keep the arms lifting. Turn the palms towards the ground. Now let's draw the elbows down towards the hips and then stretch the arms back up towards a Y. And then pull the arms down. My arms are off the ground and parallel with the floor. So like a lat pull down in the air. Draw the shoulder blades down and back. Feel the mid-back engage. And then reach back up. 3 more times. 3. And up. 2. And up. Last time. And then let the arms come down. Remove all of the props. Come onto your back and just lie flat on your back. Allow yourself to lie all the way down. Turn the palms upward. Allow the arms to drop away from the body. Let the shoulder blades drop back into the floor. As you lie down, let your entire spine feel supported. Notice if there's any last places you're holding on to. Let go of every bit of efforting. And then bring your awareness to the flow of your breath, letting the breath return to normal. Observing without changing the depth, the breadth, and the length of your breath. Feeling the change. Feeling the spaciousness of the breath. Letting go completely. And then when you're ready, roll to your side. Press yourself up to sit. As you arrive in sit, just take a few shoulder rolls. Feeling the space, feeling the mobility, feeling increased sensation and awareness through the whole chest and upper back. And then just rest in this upright sitting posture. Ribs stacked over pelvis. Shoulder blades just softening down the back of the rib cage. Chest open and at ease. Take a full breath in. And then let it all out. Thank you so much for your practice. Let me know if you have any questions.